Real Sociedad have just won the Copa del Ray, beating Atletico Madrid in a thrilling final on penalties, adding to their impressive trophy cabinet of 2 La Liga titles, 4 Copa del Rays and a Supercopa de España. However, Sociedad's last La Liga title came in 1982, and Spanish football has been completely dominated by Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid in the last 20 years. Other than the big three, there's only one team who's won La Liga titles since 2000, and that's Valencia. So I think it's time we take a football club with 116 years of history, make them the most dominant side in Spanish football. And interestingly, Sociedad have never won a European trophy. I want to win them the UCL trophy today. So the contract is officially signed. We are the new manager of Real Sociedad, and we're taking charge with just 7 games left of the league season. We've already qualified for some kind of European football, which I think is the Europa League, by winning the Copa del Ray. And to be honest, we've got absolutely no chance of making it into the Champions League. Our initial goal will just to be finish as high as possible in the league. I do just want to point out, boys, I am sorry for the lack of uploads in recent weeks, but from now on I should be able to get back on a good schedule. This is the Real Sociedad team we've loaded into. It's actually a really good team on paper, and just given the personnel we've got at the club, I don't mind the formation. So kicking off the rebuild, Sociedad are rated 4 stars out of 5, so of course we're going to load into some good players. The best player at the club is Mikel Oyarzabal, who's got 15 goals in real life, 83 rated, 29 years old. Some really good attributes there for the man as well. We've also got a very good goalkeeper, Alex Ramiro. Akifusa Kubo, who is an incredible player in FC26, 81 rated and 24-year-old. Definitely someone we are going to want to build the team around. We've also got a very solid central midfielder in Yangel Herrera, 28-year-old, 80 rated, every stat above 70, with all his technical attributes above 75. He's going to be a key anchor in the centre of our midfield. Now, when it comes to young players, they've got an excellent young centre-back in John Martin, 19-year-old and 76 rated. A very good young striker, Orios Carson, who could replace Oyarzabal in a few seasons. And a very good young right-back as well in Jean-Michel Aramburu, who we have used a few times in FC26 already. We're actually loading into a very good team here at Real Sociedad, which is something we don't normally do. And the contract situation for Season 1 isn't really too bad. Not many players out of contract. There are a lot of players with release clauses, which we are going to have to sort out. And we actually only start off with 16 million euros. For a team as big as Sociedad, who have just won the Copa del Ray, this is pretty disappointing. But when it comes to transfers in this rebuild, there is going to be a little bit of a twist. We will only be able to sign from clubs who have got Real in their club name. Now, in La Liga, there are 5 clubs with Real in their name: Real Oviedo, Real Mallorca, Real Sociedad, Real Betis and Real Madrid. And in La Liga High Promotion, we have got Real Sociedad's B team, who will not be able to sign from, Real Valladolid, Real Zaragoza, Real Sporting, and we've also got Racing Club and RC Deportivo. So there's a lot of teams we can sign from, but not a lot of top level teams we can sign from. And just looking at the team we've loaded into, we are going to need some top level players. But we are going to put our own twist on this team to finish the season. Now, I don't really do this too often, but we are going to stick with the initial formation we've loaded into. I think it gets the best out of our current crop of players, with Herrera and Kubo coming into the starting 11. And because we're outside of the current transfer window, we can't make any signings in season number 1, so we are just going to lock the team in for the final 7 games. And I can't do a Spanish rebuild without using possession-based football. That would just not sit right with me. I want to play some really nice football with Sociedad in this rebuild. And if you are new to the channel, we always let you guys decide the nations we scout in this rebuild, and this rebuild is no different. For season number 1, we are going with this comment, and we're actually going to be scouting San Marino, famously known for being one of the worst nations for football in the world. And we're going to be trying to find goalkeepers while we're in San Marino. If you can get a good young goalkeeper in early doors, it can save you a lot of money later on in a rebuild. So we complete the rest of season 1, and we do actually finish 6th in La Liga, which is a Conference League spot. But as Sociedad won the Copa de España, or Copa del Ray, I think this means they'll be in the Europa League instead, which should make for a fairly interesting season number 2. Now, we're not going to check the team. It's literally been like 6 weeks. Who was our top scorer this season? Obviously, Oyarzabal. Fantastic player. Guedes did chip in with 9 goals and 8 assists as well. Let's get into season 2. Let's get some players signed. Try and get into the Champions League. So we have arrived in season 2, and I've done some scouting off camera and already found 2 players that I do definitely want to sign in this window. But it is going to be budget dependent, and we have been given 61 million euros, a great budget. Do you know what, boys? I can probably sign all the players that I want to sign. And looking at our team, the positions I identified that we need to improve are central midfield and centre back. Remember, we can only sign from Real named clubs. So someone that I really do want to bring to Real Sociedad in this transfer window is Valentin Gomez, who does play for Real Betis, 23-year-old, 78 rated left left-footed centre-back with really good stats, who's very affordable. We're going to pay anywhere from 20 to 27 million euros for him. Someone we can help build the team around for seasons to come. Definitely want to make this signing. And for 23 million euros, we complete the signing of Valentin Gomez on a 5-year contract, leaving us with 36 million euros, and we've had a bit of an interesting idea when it comes to signing a centre mid. Now, the best centre mids I could find at Real name clubs who we actually have a chance of signing were Pablo Fornals, Dani Ceballos. These two are two players who could come into our starting 11 right now. We also found two youngsters who I will be signing at least one of, Thiago Pitach of Real Madrid or Yusuf Seydou of Real Zaragoza. My plan is to sign one of Fornals or Ceballos to play in our first team now, then sign one of Pitag or Seydou, send out on loan to replace them when they get a bit older, as Fornals is 30 and Ceballos is 29. And we've actually decided we're going to go for Fornals and Seydou because the two Real Madrid players are just on eye-watering wages. And we complete the signing of Pablo Fornals for 24 million euros, and he will wear our number 8 shirt for the next 3 seasons. And Seydou joins the club as well. He joins us for 4.6 million euros, but will go straight out on loan. So 3 good players signed on season 1 of the transfer window. Seydou, someone to look out for in a future season. So I have got some outgoing to bring you up to date with. Seydou has gone out on loan. He'll join Bournemouth for a season. Pablo Marin's gone out on loan as well, another good young centre midfielder. We've sold some first team players like Ayman Munoz, John Carabakaru and Carlos Fernandez, who've all gone for nominal fees. Not really going to be loads of change going into season 2. And I've just checked, we are going to be in the Europa League in season 2. This is a competition that I genuinely think we can win. How good would a Europa League trophy be already in season 2? So as things stand, this is how the Sociedad team is going to look going into season 2. Not loads of change. Gomez and Fornals come in. Have we got a team that's probably capable of getting into the top 4 in Spain? I don't think we have quite yet, but we have got players who are still developing, still growing. We are going to lock the starting 11 in for the new season. I don't think there's going to be any more outgoings. And our scouts are still scouting in San Marino. Not really finding anyone of note though so far. We'll get back to youth scouting in season 3. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. See how we get on in the Europa League, and is it too much to ask for a trophy again in season 2? So we've arrived at the end of season number 2, lads, and it's a 4th place finish for Real Sociedad, and that means Champions League football is coming to the club in season number 3. Finishing 3 points clear of Real Betis in 5th place. I'll absolutely take that. Now, due to winning the Copa Del Ray last season, we were in the Super Copa, but we did lose to Real Madrid, who beat us 3-2. And in the Copa de España, we would make the semi-finals, but we ultimately lost to Sevilla 4-3 over 2 legs, who would go on to beat Rayo Vallecano into the final. And this season, we'd also make the semi-finals of the Europa League, but lose narrowly 3-2 to Monaco. We'd go on to lose to Chelsea in the final. So close to 2 pieces of silverware there, boys. At least we've got Champions League to soften the blow. And we've seen some really good growth this season, boys, with a lot of our players now above 80 rated and no one in our starting 11 below 79 rated. Really happy to see Gomez grow all the way up to 83 rated. That's really, really encouraging. Where do we need to improve this team next season? Well, we're definitely going to be looking to bring a CDM in to replace Trientes, and I may look to bring a new backup winger in. Dependent on our budget, I may look to bring a right back in as well. I need to know how much money we've got first to know where I want to sign players. And we need the Real clubs to actually have sufficient players in the positions, because remember, boys, we can only sign from Real clubs in this rebuild. But in terms of stats this season, we played 60 games in all competitions. That is a lot of games, and Oyarzabal was amazing, getting 34 goals and 12 assists. Kubo, Herrera and Baranextia all had good seasons as well, getting double figures for goals. Players did perform this season. That's why we've got Champions League. So we have arrived in season 3, and we have got a very competitive budget of 81 million euros. It's now time to scan across the Real clubs, see if any have got a good CDM and a good right back for us. Before we do that, let's check how our on loan players got on last season, and thankfully Seydou has actually grown to 74 rated and 22-year-old, but is nowhere near ready to replace one of Herrera or Fornals in the starting 11. He may need another loan this season. But one of our young academy players, Ruben Vasquez, is back from his loan, 19-year-old and 74 rated. I've had a little bit of an idea. We're changing up the formation to a 4-2-3-1. We're sacking off signing a new CDM in this transfer window, and we're throwing Vasquez straight into the starting 11. 19-year-old and 74 rated. He has to be in the team. We're going to focus our attention on bringing the new right back to the club. I'm probably going to bring a new left midfielder in to replace Baranextia. Now, unfortunately, boys, the positions that we want to improve in left mid and right back just aren't really filled at the Real clubs. However, we have found Yereme, who's at Deportivo La Coruña. They are actually called Real Club Deportivo La Coruña, so we can sign him. He does count. 24-year-old, 80 rated left midfielder, has got a better potential than Baron X tier, and he's got really good stats as well. We are going to have to pay anywhere from 34 to 42 million euros to get the signing over the line. I don't really mind. Let's get Yereme over to Real Sociedad. Should be a good signing. And we complete the signing of Yereme for just 38 million euros. Now, because the Real clubs don't really have players in the positions that we need to improve in, I'm going to look to improve our bench a little bit by bringing a new backup goalkeeper and backup striker to the club, just to fill our squad with a little bit more depth going into the Champions League. So we've identified a striker we want to bring to the club, and it's Real Zaragoza striker Adrian Liso, 22-year-old, 78 rated. The guy is absolutely insane, boys, with 82 dribbling, 80 physical and 84 pace. It's going to cost us anywhere from 23 to 29 million euros, and with Oyarzabal reaching 30-year-old, Liso is the perfect guy to bring to the club to be his replacement go down the line. And Adrian Liso now joins Real Sociedad, and he has joined us for 25 million euros. Now that leaves us with just 12 million euros in the bank, but we are expecting some player outgoings. We may yet be able to make another signing, but let's take a break from transfers and finally get back to doing some youth scouting. And for this season, we are going to be going with this comment, and we are going to be scouting Morocco, and we're going to be looking for right backs and centre mids while we're in Morocco. Our centre mids are aging. Our right back hasn't got the greatest potential. I would like to find some players in these positions, and unfortunately, boys, a huge bid has come in for Mikel Oyarzabal from Barcelona, and I just feel like this is an offer I cannot reject. He will be leaving the club for 58 million. Luckily, we've brought Liso in, and do you know what, boys? I'm going to give him a chance to be our starting striker. And some big sales have occurred, boys. Goncalo Guedes goes to Athletic Club, our biggest rivals, for 18 million. Mikel Oyarzabal's gone to Barca. We've sold Brais Mendes to Crystal Palace, and Mikel Gotti leaves the club as well, leaving us with a huge 105 million euros in the bank. But the board are hitting us with a transfer sanction because we've already spent the best part of 65 million euros in this transfer window. They don't want to reinvest the money from player sales into the squad, leaving us with a budget of just 12 million euros remaining, meaning our transfer business is finished for season 3. However, I will say our starting 11 is looking strong. We're definitely going to miss Oyarzabal's goals. He was by far our top scorer last season. Can Liso do the business instead? Young Spanish striker and a young wonder kid in Vasquez playing just behind him. I'm interested to see how we actually get on this season, so we're going to be locking the starting 11 in. No major exciting signings in season 3 thanks to the board, so we are just going to simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. So season number 3 is completed, and our team is looking very strong on paper. We've seen respectable growth in every single position of the team. There's one issue with this squad at the minute: a lot of unhappy faces, boys, which probably tells me we've underperformed in the league this season. And going into season 4, we do have a bit of an issue. Herrera and Fornals are now both over 30-year-olds, so I think I'm going to put Seydu into the starting 11, who has grown to 77 rated. He is 22-year-old, and every single stat of his is above 70. He's unhappy. Maybe some game time will make him feel a bit better. Well, I wasn't expecting to see 3 players on 20 plus goals. Yereme, Kubo and Liso all had excellent seasons. Not many goals from the rest of the squad. Vasquez only got 5 goals and 12 assists. But for a young player who's gone to 78 rated, I don't really mind that. We're going to have a look at the league table, and honestly, I don't have a clue what to expect. Well, I don't know what everyone's mourning at. We've finished 4th in the league again and secured Champions League football once again for season number 4, and we scored 85 league goals, only bettered by Atletico, Real and Barca. We finished 2 points clear of our arch rivals Athletic Club to secure Champions League football. I actually think this is a really strong season. But in the Copa de España, not good enough at all. Knocked out in the round of 32 by Atletico Madrid, who beat us 3-1. Maybe that's why everyone's so unhappy. And while our Champions League performance really wasn't too strong as well, boys. Knocked out in the playoff round by Bayer Leverkusen, who beat us 3-2 an aggregate. To be fair, our performance in the Cups has not been good enough this season. Definitely needs addressing in season number 4. But we are taking a massive budget into season number 4, 102 million euros. Now, the board didn't let us spend it in the last transfer window. Hopefully they will in this next coming one. So we have now arrived in season number 4, and we've got a great budget of 135 million euros. Now, looking at our team, I do definitely want to bring a new right back in this transfer window, and potentially a new left back. I'm going to give Seydu another season of growing, and I think Herrera at 30-year-old can still do a job. And looking to our bench, we have got a very decent bench, to be fair. I would probably like to bring a stronger backup goalkeeper in, but we're going to have to see who's available from the other Real clubs. And we do have a bit of an issue as well. 4 players have handed in transfer requests in Pablo Marin, Goroxa. 2 of these players will definitely need replacing, with Ramiro being 33-year-old and 84 rated. I may look to bring a new goalkeeper to the club. We'll have to just see who leaves and who joins. We have got enough money in the bank to definitely replace these players. Right, so we do have a little bit of an issue, boys. There's no one at all who we can afford from any Real clubs in the left back and right back position. We're going to move our eye to replacing some of the players who have handed in transfer requests, which means we're going to be looking for a new goalkeeper and backup central midfielder instead. Hopefully we can actually find some players worth signing, because this transfer window's got off to a bit of a slow start. So we have identified the goalkeeper we want to bring to the club to replace Ramiro, and it's Andre Lunin of Real Madrid, who is actually their first choice keeper, and he is 4 years younger than Ramiro. He's 29-year-old, 83 rated, very good goalkeeper, can still grow up to 88 rated if we are lucky. And he's very affordable, boys, anywhere from 31 to 39 million euros to bring him Sociedad. But the only problem is he's on massive wages. And we complete the signing of Andre Lunin from Real Madrid, and he joins for just 33 million euros. Now, as we know, we are going to be losing some rotation centre mids who are like 80 rated. I've thought of a replacement, Thiago Pitach, who has been on our radar for quite some time. He's 76 rated, 20-year-old. Not really sure about his stats, to be fair. He's very affordable, anywhere from 14 to 19 million euros. We'll cross him over to Real Sociedad. And at 20-year-old and 76 rated, he's got a chance of replacing Herrera as our starting midfielder in just a few seasons' time. And Pitach signs for the club. We've paid just 16 million euros for him, and this is actually a very good signing. Now, we've still got 78 million euros in the bank. There's quite a few players who will be leaving the club probably for good fees in this transfer window, and I have actually got my eyes on a player who I didn't think would be affordable but might be once we make some sales, and that is Alvaro Carreras of Real Madrid, 88 rated defender. Look at the stats and play styles. Unbelievable left back. I think he actually played for Preston once. Now, we don't have anywhere near enough money to buy him right now. We could have to pay up to 130 million for him, but with the players we've got transfer listed and the money we've got in the bank, we may actually be able to raise the funds to bring him to Real Sociedad. Now, as we can see, boys, all the transfer listed players have been sold. We've raised quite a lot of money, with our first choice goalkeeper Ramiro actually going to Real Madrid. We've basically swapped goalkeepers. Marin goes to Forest, Fuentes and Garozzo go to PSG and Frankfurt. Now, interestingly, this leaves us with 147 million euros in the bank, meaning Alvaro Carreras will be affordable. Let's bring him to Real Sociedad. And Carreras signs for the club for 125 million euros, and he is bagging himself 200 grand a week. But when we're limited to just signing players from Real clubs, pool isn't too big, and we needed a new fullback desperately. That is definitely going to be the end of our transfer window, by the way, meaning this is going to be the Real Sociedad team to take us into season number 4. Very strong team on paper. I'm hoping Vasquez and Sociedad can have really solid seasons in terms of growth. We've got a great bench as well, a lot of 80 rated players, some young players in there who could progress into first team players. I'm looking at you, Pitach, as we lock the starting 11 in for season number 4, and we just simulate forward to the end of said season. How are we going to get on? We've splashed the cash. Hopefully we get something to show for it. So season 4 is now completed, boys. We're looking at a much happier starting 11 and a team that has grown loads this season. You may notice that Pitach is now in the starting 11. He was growing faster than Sociedad, and he is 3 years younger, so we put him straight into the team. But a very strong team on paper. I'm hoping for top 4 again. I wouldn't mind a trophy. But when it comes to stats, Liso's been a fantastic player the last few seasons, getting 32 goals and 11 assists. Cubo, Herrera and Yereme all excellent as well. Once again, though, really getting carried by a set bunch of players. Goals not really well spread out across the squad. But we have seen improvement in the league. We've finished 3rd, securing Champions League football again. Barcelona do go on to win the league. Once again, though, not good in the Copa de España, losing in the quarterfinals to Real Betis, who beat us 2-1. But this time, we were miles better in the Champions League, boys. We actually reached the semi-final, but we did get battered 5-1 by Borussia Dortmund, who would go on to play Atletico in the final. And Atletico do win the Champions League, beating Borussia Dortmund 3-2. Genuinely, boys, I think we've missed a massive chance to win the Champions League this season. We need to nail the signings in season 5 and see if we can go one step further. So we have arrived in season 5 and we've got our biggest transfer budget to date of 177 million euros. Now, when it comes to improving the team, we really need a new right back, boys. We've been screaming out for one for the entire rebuild. If we cannot sign a new right back once again, we are going to position change Sergio Gomez to a right back, and he can be our starting fullback as he has got a 5-star weak foot. I definitely want to improve our bench a bit by bringing a new winger and new striker to the club, and a new backup goalkeeper. This rebuild has not been easy, boys. A lot of the Real clubs just don't have many good players other than Real Madrid. Then they're on like 300 grand a week. The next best club we can choose from is Real Betis, and they really don't have many decent players either. Right, so we can't find a right back at any Real clubs. We're going to be looking to improve our bench. I think we need a new striker, winger and goalkeeper, just to give us more options going into the Champions League next season. So we've managed to find 3 players we do want to bring to the club in this transfer window. We found a backup goalkeeper, Tommaso Martinelli of Deportivo La Coruña, 23-year-old, 77 rated, cheap option, the best goalkeeper we could find who wouldn't be a first choice keeper. We're going to bring him to the club. We've also found a decent backup striker from Real Betis, Cucho Hernandez, 30-year-old, 81 rated striker with very good stats and 4-star. He'll be a good striker going into the Champions League next season and a big upgrade on Haraldson. And we've also found a very exciting winger at Betis, Crescencio Somerville, formerly of West Ham, 27-year-old, 83 rated, stats are amazing, really good player who could start games for us next season. And Cucho Hernandez is the first player to sign for the club. He joins us for 25 million euros. Up next, we announced the arrival of Tommaso Martinelli, who signs for 12 million euros. And finally, Crescencio Somerville joins the club in our most expensive transfer of the summer, 43 million euros. So that's a new backup striker, a new backup goalkeeper, and a fantastic backup winger, all brought to the club in one transfer window. Just given what's available at the other Real clubs, I do think we've managed to have a successful window. I mean, as the starting 11 stays the same, with Gomez coming into the starting 11 at right back, and everyone on our bench other than Seydou, Pacheco and Martinelli being over 80 rated, I do think we've got an excellent team on paper, just probably lacking one or two superstars. We need some 90 rated players in here. Hopefully we can have a good season of growth from the squad in season 5. There has been 3 outgoings as well in this transfer window. Arsene Zakarian, Ori Oscarson and Unai Moreiro have all left the club. They would have got no minutes this season and they didn't want new deals. So we have arrived at the end of season number 5, lads, and for the first time in this rebuild, Real Sociedad are the champions of Spain, finishing 4 points clear of Real Madrid in second place. 25 games won, 5 games lost, and a La Liga trophy added to our trophy cabinet. Season 5 is off to an absolute flyer, boys. Because we've gone and won the Super Copa as well, beating Barcelona 2-0 in the final, another trophy in our trophy cabinet. We've won the Copa de España as well. We've beat Atletico Madrid 2-0 in the final, adding a Copa de España to the trophy cabinet. Oh my god, we've made the Champions League final as well, and we're taking on Real Madrid. We're literally on for a quadruple this season, and I don't think we've ever won a quadruple before on this channel, so we have to beat Real Madrid in the final. Now in the league phase, we would go on to finish 5th, 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, 17 points accumulated, meaning we go straight into the round of 16. And in the round of 16, we would batter Juventus 5-1 over 2 legs, setting up a very tight quarter-final with Manchester City. We win the tie 1-0 over 2 legs, 1 goal scored in 2 games. That would set up a semi-final with Chelsea, who we beat 2-1 over 2 legs, another very tight semi-final, whereas Real Madrid beat PSG on penalties, setting up a Real Sociedad and Real Madrid Champions League final. Very fitting that in a video where we can only sign players from other Real clubs, we take on Real Madrid in the Champions League final. But the team we are taking into the Champions League final is very, very strong. Literally a team with no weaknesses at all, and a 91 rated left back, with a lot of players very close to 90 rated in this team. Pitarch is the only player who I'm a little bit concerned about, and we've got so many options on the bench, boys. So many players above 80 rated. I don't think we're going to have a team as strong as Real Madrid's, but we're definitely going to be able to take the game to 1 for sure. Now in terms of stats, Adrian Liso was our best player, getting 34 goals and 3 assists. Yangel Herrera, Yereme and Kubo all got double figures in terms of goals, whereas Vasquez got double figures for assists. He's 88 rated at 22-year-old. He's got potential to be an amazing player. Now on this channel, when we reach the Champions League final, we always decide on a Hall of Famer. I'm going to give it to Yangel Herrera, who's been here since day 1. He's just had a very impressive season in front of goal and getting assists from midfield. He's constantly scored from midfield as well in this rebuild, and I did not expect him to grow to 89 rated. He's been a real hidden package, and there's one objective remaining: beat Real Madrid and become quadruplists, something we've never done on this channel. So before we get the final on the way, we know we've got a strong team. What's Real Madrid's looking like? Well, they've got Vinicius Jr. at 92 rated, Mbappe at 92 rated, Savinho of Manchester City, Bellingham, Camavinga, Mario Martin, he's not that good. Excellent team on paper, boys. They have got the stronger team. I am going to be looking to exploit Martin at the CDM position. The final's being played at Schalke's ground in Germany, so no one's got home advantage. It's the battle of the Reals. Who is going to win the Champions League? Real Madrid are playing with a bit of a high press, which I think if we can play through, can go and cause them some damage. Savinho breaking forward for Real Madrid. Has a shot that goes just over the bar. Wow, he had some whip on that shot from Savinho. Good ball by Hato. Great tackle by Sergio Gomez. Kubo. Vasquez. What a space. Oh, it's got to be a goal. It's got to be a goal for Carreras, our left back. The former Real Madrid man makes it 1-0 on 25 minutes. Literally all the space in the world, and what a finish this is, by the way. And what a ball that is. Liso, come on, it's got to be 2-0. It is 2-0. Liso with a goal on the stroke of half time. His 8th goal in the Champions League. We've got one hand on that Champions League trophy. The quadruple is in sight. If we somehow bottle it from here, I'm coming off YouTube for good. No, no, no. What a save. Get it out, get it out, get it out. Get the ball away. Oh my God. Well, that's half time, lads. It's 2-0 at the break. The difference between the two sides, we've just been so much more clinical. We're playing really defensive. We've got a really deep defensive line. We're hitting Real Madrid on the counter, and you know what? It's working to a T. Really got to lock in for this second half. I don't want to bottle it. Really nice by Camavinga out to Vinicius Jr. Camavinga blocked again. Heroic defending at the minute. Get that out. Cleared. Only as far as Bellingham. No, nope. Mbappe, what a save by Lunin. Get it away. Get it out. Oh my God. Get rid of it. No. What a tackle force from Mbappe. What a save. How? Oh my God. I don't. And it's a foul as well. Get in. Bellingham saved. Great tackle by Carreras. We haven't even got out of our own half, boys. It's actually a really good ball. What a save by Lunin. 10 minutes to go. That is a massive save. Get it out. Nice, Herrera. Where's my midfield? Where's my midfield? Oh, obviously. It were coming. It's been coming. Hoyson scores with 5 minutes of the Champions League final to go. I think when we hit this ball, the Champions League final is won. Smash forward. And there's the full-time whistle, lads. For the first time on this channel, we have won a quadruple. And Real Sociedad are the champions of Europe. And the Champions League trophy is lifted, boys. Herrera, her Hall of Famer, has done the honours. Real Sociedad are the champions of Europe. That's another rebuild successfully boxed off. And for the first time in FC26, and I think our time on YouTube, we have won a quadruple. So just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, boys. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe. It does really help me out, and I will see you in the next one, where winning a quadruple is going to be very unlikely.